Hey, friends, welcome back to the Balanced Boss Mom podcast, where we talk about conversations about motherhood, mental health, and everything else in between. Today, we're shifting lens a little bit, talking about something that doesn't or often isn't talking about. And I want to bring enough attention to this podcast in particularly. It's about fatherhood and the mental health challenges that come with fatherhood, which the title of this is going to be Fatherhood Unfiltered, the Truth About Dad's Mental Health. I have a wonderful, wonderful guest. His name is Brandon Moore, a fellow podcaster, dad, and someone who is very passionate about opening up about these conversations today. So, Brandon, I'm going to tell you there's no pressure to this episode today or this conversation. As a mom myself, I think I bring pressure to my spouse about being a dad. So I just want to let you know there's no pressure for today, and I
Appreciate
want to
that.
welcome you onto the podcast.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this, and this is a very intriguing topic, or let's say lens that you're reaching out to, and it is beneficial. It is beneficial. So I'm very excited to kind of give you my view on it. As I do talk about mental health a lot in a podcast that I have. So I get it. I understand. I'm excited.
I'm excited to get this conversation started. So, for those who may not be familiar yet with your work, can you tell us a little bit about who you are to start off with and your podcast and around
Yeah.
have the conversations of fatherhood and mental health?
Yeah. Let's say that COVID started a lot. Let's say COVID started a lot. It was obviously a terrible time for the world, but um, for me, it really mentally wise and emotionally wise, it was probably one of the lowest I've ever been in my
Hmm.
life. Just I went a few years without a job, and I'm degreed, as they say, I'm degreed up, whatever. But um, and it was I was staying up late at night, couldn't sleep, just just your mind was just wandering and going, and not
Mhm.
having the best thoughts, and so. Um, on my phone was the Anchor app,
Hmm.
and on my iPhone was the Anchor app. So I was like, man, how you do this thing? And I got on Anchor app and started talking, and literally started talking, and started this whole brand of Be Motivated LC life coaching, because I did get certified as a life coach post on COVID.
Hmm.
I did a whole bunch of stuff, and really was trying to find my value, and really trying to find my value in the home and outside of the home during that time. And as I'm just searching, I'm just trying to just do stuff, right? And at the same time, take out all the distraction that I'm hearing, right? So good, bad, and different, just a whole bunch of distractions, right? So the
Right.
podcast I started, Be Motivated, um, the letter B, Motivated, Be Motivated, it really helped me because I was getting my emotions out. And didn't really know it was reaching anybody until my cousin told me there was one episode he listened to like every day when he was going through something. So then I was like, well, let me just
Very.
keep doing it. And then did it for a while, wasn't really consistent with it, but did it for a while, just kept it going really. And
Hmm.
then I literally just, I started working again after a while, and kind of regained my confidence back. And then went from there to got into, consulting, and wanted to focus more on leadership and mental health, and just started doing that. And then every now and then, an episode will pop up in my head. And one interesting thing is I never write anything down. Like,
Hmm.
if you listen to my podcast, everything is off the top of my head, and everything is like real time thought process, right? So,
Right.
yeah, very big in mental health, very big in that, especially amongst me.
I think that mental health isn't really often talked about a lot of times. It's almost, I think we're just now getting around talking about it, in this time. With COVID hit pretty big for a lot of people, myself included. I had got laid off from my job, and I was like, what am I going to do next? And so For me with COVID, I ended up going back to school. Like how you said you're degreed up, I'm degreed up. I'm almost
Nice.
done with my bachelor's. So
Nice.
I got
Nice.
50 more credits to go.
There you
I'm trying
go.
to wrap it up and be done with it. But every time something with life comes stumbling my way. But I do have a fun, quick little question before we get into the fatherhood and
Okay.
mental health discussion. If fatherhood so far were a chapter title in your life story, like just your whole life story, what would you call it and why?
Wow.
Good one, huh?
Um, to the father was a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would call it the unknown.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably would call it the unknown. Just because it's one of the few things in life that you just cannot plan for.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how much money you make, what job you have, doesn't matter the spouse you have, doesn't matter anything. It's just you cannot plan for it because there's so much more that goes into it than just being present. There's a lot of emotional battles you got to win. There's a lot of mental battles you got to win.
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, there's a lot that you have to address. And because if you don't address them, when you have a little one, it's coming up. Oh, it's coming up, and
That conversation is gonna come up, and I like how you
it's
highlighted
coming
the
up.
word address because not often conversations get addressed. It's just you hide them and then be like, "Okay,
Oh,
move on,"
this.
but then eventually you have to address them and they're gonna come up.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It's a matter of time, and if you don't do it right, it's a ticking time bomb. It's
Mhm.
literally a ticking time bomb. So that's why that chapter of my life book, I would probably call the unknown.
I like that chapter of the title. I need to pick a chapter or title of my life. It's probably Erica and Chaotic is what it's
There we go.
my chapter. But one of the biggest gaps in parenting conversations is dad mental health because we often talk about, okay, there's the mom's mental health, there's the women's mental health, there's that side of things. But then on the flip side of things, there's dad's mental health. So, what has your experience been like when you're navigating through like the stress or pressure or maybe like the emotional well being of being a dad?
You know, that's a good question. That's a good question because
I just keep coming with a good
man,
question.
that's a good question. Just because it's one of those where it's you just have to balance. You once you understand you're not going to be perfect. Once you understand that you're not perfect. Once you understand you're going to make mistakes.
Mhm.
Once you get that, I think it helps with the balancing act. You're
Okay.
balancing if you're married, right? You're balancing your
Mhm.
spouse. You're balancing. Well, well, let me go back. You're balancing your faith, spouse, right? Your faith, your spouse, your children, your health,
Mhm.
your job, whatever that may be, right? Your job, even
Mhm.
even your extracurriculars, even the things that kind of give you a little peace and joy, right?
Mhm.
You're balancing all that, and then you're balancing the wants and needs of everybody. Like, so how do I deal with it? My faith. I pray. I pray. I got a thing where I tell myself, I try to be better today than I was yesterday.
Mhm.
And that really that really keeps me going. I try to be better today than I was yesterday. So I kind of, you have to kind of acknowledge where your your bandwidth is not as strong,
Mhm.
right? You kind of have to acknowledge that, right? And then once you acknowledge that, you kind of focus on, okay, how can I get better at that, right? So, like I said, we had our last baby July 28th.
Mhm.
We have a 5 and 6 year old. So immediately they don't understand the attention that the newborn gets. They don't understand why
Mhm.
the newborn cries. They don't understand the time that the newborn needs to feed and where the baby has to lay their arms in the dad's arm or
Mhm.
chest. They don't understand that. So they're territorial. As a dad, you don't want to see that. Like it's just like, no, 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 but I gotta
Yeah,
love
you
everybody.
don't
Like I gotta
yeah,
love
you're
everybody,
trying to
right?
balance the both of them because you got a 5 and a 6-year-old and you have a newborn, so
Exactly.
they're
You're
not
trying to balance
understanding
that.
that the newborn has to be a
Yeah,
little bit more attentive than
exactly.
a
And
5 and 6-year-old.
then let's go even deeper than that, right?
Okay.
we're a balanced, we're a blended family.
Mhm.
So the newborn comes, our two oldest are solo kids in each life. So my stepson was the only child that my wife had for 9, 10 years,
Wow,
11
okay.
years, something like that. And then my daughter, she was the only child for 7, 8 years. So you're still balancing those emotions there, right?
Mhm.
The son, he's not gonna be too outwardly as far as like tell you a whole lot. He's just kind of gonna just show his door, play his game, whatever.
Mhm.
May indirectly kind of be like, Dad, is this the last one? Oh, Dad, another one. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to deal with
I
that
get it.
because, then you have to deal with that because, then those comments get made. And because you're
Mhm.
a blended family, I'm not in her home every day.
Mhm.
So I'm not there to referee that or I'm not there to shut it down. I gotta wait until I see her. And if it comes up, then address
Mhm.
it. Right. Then you also, but throw some message, you also got your spouse that you have to balance at this point, right? So,
Yeah.
and then those emotions from having a baby, from the focus of trying to get their, trying to get the snatch back, trying to get the body back, the paranoia
You hit the
of,
nail on the head.
you know
You
what I'm
hit it.
saying?
You
The
hit it.
paranoia
That is
of
true for that
being
is
a good
true.
mom, making the right decisions. Am I going to breastfeed or formula? It's,
Mhm.
oh, I seen this on the internet. Is this true? Is this not? So you have to balance that. And you're like, okay, how do I do that? And still try to maintain this level of daddy excellence, even though
Mm.
you're going to mess up. You're not perfect, right? You're not perfect
Mhm.
at all, whatever. Like,
Mhm.
you have a difference of an opinion, it's the wrong thing to the wrong person, right? I mean,
Right.
so you still have to show up. And I think that's the thing that helps me go is I pray and then I show up every day. Like I show up different every day. I mean, hey, my wife was just mad at me the other day, but I showed up the next day. Like, what do you need? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's balancing, it's balancing that along with, I mean, there are days where the whole house is mad at me, and I'm like, I don't even know what I did. I just woke up today, like, you know what I mean? But
What did dad do? What did
right,
dad
you're
do
right.
to
It's like,
cause this
what did Dad
confusion?
do?
What did dad do?
So yeah. But to answer your question, I pray and I
Mhm.
just focus on showing up and being better today than I was yesterday.
And I like that. I like that you said that it's better to you have to kind of it's not that you have to show up, but the fact that you keep your faith first and you are showing it, that's I applaud that in general because like you stated when a for a mom, it's we often talk about who is our village and what is our village looking like to
Mm,
us. But for a dad in particularly, you don't hear a dad talk about who his village is and who's around him to make him feel better. So my question for you is who is your village when you're trying to achieve this dad excellence and we have this thing like my spouse house which is the girl dad because of course rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, that's his favorite basketball player, but, they come with the stigma of the girl dad, and
oh,
who is your village that
let me
you
tell you,
teach?
I am out of all my friends and family, I am the ultimate girl dad. Like I am the one that I can't get a boy. That was that was the whole joke. It's like Brandon's not gonna have a boy. Like he's got all girls, all girls, all girls,
Oh, no.
right? All girls. So it was. So you have that, but I embrace it. I love it. I love my girls. I love my girls.
Oh.
Like I love my son, but I love my girls. I love my babies. And to answer your question to your village. Now, here's a spin on the village talk. Okay,
Okay.
here's a spin on
I'm ready for the
it.
village talk if you're gonna will it to give it to me, because 'cause I'm ready to
So
hear it.
here's a spin on it. I am I am I have solid people around me,
Mhm.
right? So let's just say the number one person in my village is my wife. Number one person is my wife. Good, bad, and different. You done got on my nerves today, whatever. You're still the number one person in my village.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
And because that's important. That's important to acknowledge, and that's important for men to acknowledge, but also women to hear.
Ooh,
Because
rewind that back
because
and say it
yeah,
again.
yeah, it's important that men acknowledge it and that women hear it and understand it, right? Because again, when my wife is mad, we react differently,
Mm.
right? So it may be quiet in the house. That's one indication that my wife is probably mad at me. It's gonna be quiet in the house. However, hey honey, can you make my shake for me? Yeah, cool, no problem. I'm there. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm
You're
there.
there.
Hey,
Yeah.
can you yeah, I'm there. You know, small gestures, but you're still there. Like I don't want to do this journey of life, good, bad, and different
Mhm.
without her in my village. Like without her.
Mhm.
So she's the number one person in the village, right? So here's the spin. It's tiers to it, right? They're all
Right.
important.
Mhm.
They're all important tiers. Spouse, but outside of God, spouse is my ace boom coon, my
You're doing
boo,
one to the end.
my
Okay.
bae, my ride or
Yeah.
die, whatever. She's that, right? She's that. Under that are my parents, right? And my
Mhm.
sister, like that immediate core.
Mhm.
Under that, under that is her core, the immediate core, right?
Right.
Then I have a group chat I'm in, and it's like four of my closest brothers. One is my cousin. I mean, hell, we all call each other cousins, but one is legitimately my cousin. Um, we're in a group chat and we talk about anything and everything. And when a person goes quiet in a group chat, there's no panic. We text and say, "Hey man, everything good? Yeah, I'm good, man. Just dealing with life. We're here if you need, you know." Um, from mistakes we've made to awards we need to be celebrated, that group chat
Mhm.
does it. Then I'm also in another group chat with three guys that are older than me, and they all coached with me when I was coaching basketball. They all coached with me, and they're all brothers. That's the best thing about it. Like they're all brothers, and they've all been married for 15, 20 some years,
Oh,
right? And they're
that's
older than
good.
me. And they're older than me. So it's like when we talk about things about life, I'm getting the friendship vibe and I'm also getting the mentorship vibe.
I
You know what
like
I'm
that.
saying? So
'Cause
so I
you
have that.
men need that. They
I
need that. They need that group
yes.
chat. I
Yes. Yes.
My
So
spouse
important.
has his brothers in his group chat, but he has I would have to say he probably has his village is surrounded by his brother and his mom, and which I get it. Like everybody's village is different, you
Yep.
know? And so often when I see something is wrong, like I can tell it on his face. I can
Yeah.
immediately and be like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing, nothing's wrong. I'm good. I'm good." I'm like, "No, something's wrong. You're upset. You're bothered.
Hmm.
I can immediately see it." But it's like he wants to say it. And he wants to get it off his chest, but then he's like, "Man, you're a female. It's not gonna. No, it's not the same. You're a girl. It's not the same. Like and I get that, and so I kinda create that little space and be like, "Alright, you can come to me when you're ready,"
But
and then
it's we can tell you, but it's the response that men
Okay.
get kind of whoa, right? It's the
Mhm.
response, right? So
It may be too heavy for
it
the
could be,
spouse to understand.
and it may not be an equal response if the shoe was on the other foot, right?
Right.
So I come to you and I say, I'm feeling lonely, whatever the case may be. I'm feeling lonely.
Mhm.
You, the spouse, may say, okay, what do you want to do? How do you feel lonely?
Mhm.
If the woman says, I'm lonely, there's a whole book that comes along with it.
Yeah.
It's,
Say
you should know this. You should know how to make me feel this way. You should know how to do this. Why am I even lonely in the first place? Right.
Mhm.
So sometimes it's the response that we may assume that we're going to get. We may not get it, but we're going to assume that we're going to get it.
Mhm.
And sometimes a man will shut down and be like, man, I'd rather go to my homeboys tell them what's up because maybe I can go into a little bit more detail with him
Okay, I
and
can
they're
see
going
it
to
from
keep it,
I can see it from that standpoint
you know,
on
they're going
why
to keep it
sometimes
100 with me.
I wonder about that, and I'm like, is it because there's a lot of people say there is a stigma around being vulnerable, and why don't men share a tear? Or why don't men get so emotional? Or why can't, like you said, a woman has a whole book with them. And maybe a man has, they have that hide and key and that lock for them. You know, it's different folks for different strokes for different people. So I wish there wasn't like a stigma surrounding men being expressing themselves, because they should be able to express themselves regardless if you're with your spouse. But like you said, going back to it, it's the response of maybe what the spouse is giving, you know? And so I know sometimes I can see where my spouse he carries a lot. You know, he's probably carrying like, okay, well, my girl had a bad day today and I got to figure out how to make her happy, but then I got to figure out how to deal with the coworkers at work, you know? And so I know many dads carry on that weight of being the provider at home, because you know, growing up, I was just talking about this on my last episode about the pillars of what a woman has to hit, where okay, you get out of high school and you're supposed to graduate high school, and then boom, you're supposed to graduate college, and then boom, you're supposed to be married at a certain age, and then boom, you're supposed to have a kid. And I was talking about this where I don't feel that a woman should be able to have to hit all those pillars, because for me, I didn't wanna go to college as soon as I got out of high school. I wanted to live it up for my high school after I graduated. And then, you know, I did manifest and said by the time I was 30, I was gonna have my first kid, and I ended up having my first kid. And then I said by the time I'm 35, I will have my second one, but I was like, if I don't have my second one, that is okay, you know? And I feel like we shouldn't have to focus on those pillars of hitting those tiers. And I feel like men shouldn't have to I hear often where it's the man has to be the provider and the woman shouldn't. The woman should just be able to relax. And for me, I'm not like that. I can't just switch it off and be like, okay, go ahead and you carry. I feel like it could be 50-50. So what are your opinions
Uh,
on that, on the
no,
challenges of balancing those roles?
that's a really, 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 really good point and good question there because pending how you grew up, okay, let's just say that
Mhm.
pending how you grew up and pending what male figure you was around kind of helps shape how you look at how your household is going to be.
Okay.
Okay, so I will say this, like, and I'm open about this, like to my obviously my brothers and all that stuff. Open about this, like there have been times in my marriage where I've been like I completely failed at providing this life of um life of freedom, life of hey honey, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, life
Mhm.
of oh I got it, you know,
Yeah.
like there's been, you know, a lot of that within me where I've been like, man, I have completely failed at that. You know, even though growing up, both my parents in the house, at one point I had no clue who was paying bills because I was young. Those type of topics didn't come up in my house,
Right.
you know, so I didn't know it. I didn't care. It's like whatever.
Mhm.
Lights are on. We're good to go, right? However, when you start to branch out, and you start to date and you start to really get serious, then you start to listening to conversations and having these conversations, you find out some women are like, okay, you know what? My dad took care of X, Y, and Z. He took care of
Mhm.
everything. So now the expectation is for that spouse to do the exact same thing, right?
And you just said the word, the expectation of what
Expectations.
that's supposed to be, 'cause
Or on the flip side,
mhm.
mom did everything.
Mhm.
So expectation is not for the man, expectation is for the woman that I don't need a man to do this because I can already do it myself. So therefore, when you meet that, she automatically is taking that that point
Mhm.
lead automatically because she's seen her mother do it and her mom has seen her mom do it, and so on and so on. So
Mhm.
when those two clash, right? When those two clash, they clash because you got the man that's probably like, man, well, I'm trying to do that for you. The woman's
Mhm.
like, either you're taking too long, or let me just do it myself,
Right.
or whatever the case may be, right? So now that class, so now the woman already has this thought that the man has already failed
Mm. Okay.
in this context right here. Because you know how, okay, about a year or two ago, where it was like the internet campaign, where like Instagram and all this, they was talking about women want to get into the soft era. They want to get into their
Yeah,
soft
the
era,
soft
right?
air. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
I
so it's
remember that.
like, and so I remember having a conversation about that. And I remember some couple people been upset because I said, well, you want to be in your soft era, but neither you or your spouse or your person that you're interested in knew anybody that was in their soft era. So
Mm.
you have no clue how to navigate to get to it.
Okay.
So you're watching these videos and you're seeing these people and you're like, oh man, I want to do that, I want to do that. But then you're like, oh, I have no clue because my mom busted her butt. My dad
Mhm.
busted his butt. So I don't know, like, mom, are you in your software? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You know, it's that's a
what does that
very
mean?
that is a really interesting topic that you said that about the soft girl era because I feel like we often how social media has glamorized a lot of things that are going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's crazy because, and not to get off the topic of challenges of a fatherhood, but social media has really tried to do this Pinterest or this TikTok worthy situations. And now that people are catching on, like, hey, it's not what everything maybe seems to be. And then, like, oh, let's do the behind the scenes of what really going on so you can see the actual reality.
Mm.
Now, when people are seeing the reality, they're like, "Is it even worth being on social media anymore?"
That's a very good point. Very good point. And it's like there's not one husband or father who loves their spouse and loves their kids who does not want to give the mother of their children the soft life. There's not one. And sometimes what happens is when the women don't get it, it doesn't matter if the man is trying, or even if you don't even know he's trying, because he may not want to communicate that with you because the fact of it's not the end result. And right now, if I keep saying I'm trying, it just makes it seem like I'm on a treadmill and I'm telling people that I'm working out. The only thing I do is I go
Yep,
stand on the treadmill and it doesn't move.
and it's not
You
moving.
so, but women in some cases, when they're not getting it, when they're not
Mhm,
getting it, it's, oh, okay, he can't provide that. He can't do that. And it's like, no, what if I don't know how? There's no knock on that.
mhm,
What if I don't know? What if it's like,
okay,
okay, I'm in a job
okay,
that's paying me nice, right? You like, I'm in a job that's paying
mhm,
me nice, but damn, I got all these bills. So it's like, and I wasn't, it's like, I wasn't taught on saving. I wasn't taught about the 401. I wasn't taught
mhm,
about things that could help progress to get you to your software, right? There's
okay,
not one husband or dad that doesn't want that for the mother that, for the mother of their children. There's not one. And I think that sometimes it gets misconstrued because I'm not gonna always tell you what I'm trying to do. Sometimes I just I need to do it so I get some momentum about it. You know what I'm saying? I get some
right,
momentum and I can just go, 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 and then try to do it. When it happens, hey babe, guess what? Here we go. Right? But it doesn't
mhm,
take away from the man that is trying, from the father that's trying, for the husband that's trying.
mhm,
Um, and the reason I keep saying the word trying is because most times you're a man is you're battling a war that from all angles, right? It's from all, it's like
right,
you're in the middle of the ocean, you're battling Canada, North America, South America, Russia, Africa, China, and you're in the middle.
mhm,
And you're trying to figure out, okay, how can I navigate through this? Right. And sometimes that's your own demons, your family's demons,
mhm,
your spouse's demons, your spouse's family's demons, the demons that you're afraid that are gonna pass on to your children, then
Mhm.
your children's children, or then you're trying to, you're trying to hit a 4 point shot to make it all go away, and then you're stressed every day. But you
And you're
can't
trying to
you can't keep
navigate
saying
that.
that you're stressed every day, because then what happens is, and I know you're married, you've been through it, the competition of struggle happens, right? The competition of
Mhm.
struggle is like, you tired? I'm tired. Well, I'm tired because and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, I'm
Yeah,
just
and
trying to
then the
communicate
argument
with you.
comes and that's like you said, it's about when those hidden conversations start to explode, it comes up to surface, and it really does. It does
Yeah.
come into surface.
And those are the conversations that have to be addressed, right?
Mhm.
Those are things that have to be addressed.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, but no, I mean it's a journey. It's a journey for your village. It's
Mhm.
it's it's a journey for you by yourself. It's a journey, and you make a choice. Do I want to
Yeah.
continue this journey every day? Yes. All right. So I signed up for. So I pray about. So my mentality is make it happen the best way you can.
I like your answer. That was the best answer I've ever had on a podcast, ever.
Well, make
I'm
sure
just
you put that out. We put that in a reel.
that is gonna yes, that's gonna be a real. Another question I have for you, because we're getting deep in this challenge of fatherhood. So
Yeah,
I
man.
know they often, when I first had my kid, I was like, "Is there a book?" Because parenting doesn't have a book. So what? It's a two-part question that I have for you. So the first part of
Okay.
this question is what expectations did you walk into fatherhood? And how has that changed you? And then my next question would be, what's one part of fatherhood you wish people were more prepared for? I think that was a three-part question there.
Let's see. The first one was expectation, right?
The
So
expectation.
I
Mhm.
don't. I gotta be honest. I don't think I had an expectation. I think I was so nervous, or it was just unknown, right? It was just,
Mhm. It's
I don't know
unknown.
what being a dad is outside of the men that I've seen that are dads
Ah,
from TV
okay.
shows. From what I'm saying, that was it. So
Yeah.
I didn't have an expectation. I
Okay.
think it was more of a, here's what I'm being dealt in a positive way. Here's what I'm being dealt. Make lemonade,
Turning those lemons into lemonade pretty much.
and
Okay.
doing it and having to trust somebody, having to trust somebody
Mhm.
to do it with.
Okay.
That's that's a tough part, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, relinquishing your ego, your pride, all that type of stuff.
Ooh,
You know,
say that
that's
again
what.
for the people in the back.
Um,
Not relinquishing the pride, not the ego, because
yeah, I mean that's a big part of it too.
that's tough for a man to do.
It
That is,
is.
I hear it in your voice. That's tough.
Yeah,
It's
it's
tough for
hard.
a
And
man to do.
then let's see, what was the second question?
The second question was, what's one part of fatherhood you wish people were more prepared for?
I would, man, the one part I would probably say is, oh man, that's a tough one. To be more prepared for it would have to be, yeah, the challenge of not knowing what to
Okay.
do.
Mhm.
That's like, if you can hear now, my baby is not happy right now, but it's it's like I'm watching my wife. Is one of those things like, okay, I'm checking the list, right, of everything that's
Mhm.
going on. Baby's just not happy, right? More
Mhm.
people, you need to be prepared for nights like that where it's like, okay, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, because this baby just won't stop crying. It's almost like
Mhm.
in the movies, right? When a young person having a baby and the baby's just crying, 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 and then
Mhm.
Big Mama comes out. Big Mama comes out. She's like, "Here, give me that baby, give me that baby,"
Yeah,
and it's
and
like
Big
who
Mama
that
comes
is.
up and shows up. Yeah.
That's what I feel like more people need to kind of be prepared for, is there's nights like that. Like, my baby was crying for a minute. It was just one of those deals where I can see my wife, like, she's checking
Mhm.
the boxes. She's doing the same thing I would have done, checking the boxes, and then eventually she's like, all right, let me just get up. Let me just get up and let me walk around. Okay, that didn't work. Let me get up and do this. Being prepared for the unknown and being prepared to be like, I have no clue what I'm
I
doing.
like great answer. I like you're diving in with me. You're
I
getting deep.
am. Let's get it.
You told me you was gonna do this to me. So I know moms go through so many transitions. You know, of course, we go through being pregnant, going through the transition of postpartum. I feel like with a dad is kind of different too. And rediscovering themselves as moms. So what does it look like from your perspective, if you can dive deep with me? What does it look like for dads to truly support moms during that season of that transition?
Favor. It literally looks like, you know, you're doing what I would say you're supposed to do. You know, I'm
Mhm.
not pushing the baby out of me. I'm not coming close to death. Right. Like,
Mm. Mhm.
you know, yeah. Do I say I'm blessed to be a man? Yeah, not have to go through that? Absolutely. But I also say that I see why God only did that for women. Because you have to be ordained by something that is extremely high, that knows the power of a woman.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's it. So you supporting that woman, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's yeah.
You are supposed to support that woman. You are supposed to be there. You're supposed to hear the gripes. You're supposed to hear the complaints. You're supposed to. Like,
Mhm.
you you are supposed to do that because it's part of, and I'm really big on this. I'm really big on servant leadership.
Okay.
It's part of being a servant leader, right? My wife, you know, not to get emotional, but when we had Sword 6 year old, my 6 year old, my wife almost died. Like, she found out she had blood clots, so she almost died. Had I not got
Um,
her back to the emergency room when we got her there, we were already at home with the baby. After we had got her there, literally the doctor looked at me and said, "You potentially would have been waking up next to your wife now." For me, oh, I'm right there. I'm at doctor's appointments. The ones I can make, I'm there. Hey, what do you need? Hey, what do you need? Like,
mhm.
okay, you know, get up. Like, are you okay? Here's your medicine. I'm supporting that because you're putting your life on the line just to bring me a kid to
Yeah.
add another addition to our family. Like, that's what you're doing. So absolutely, I'm gonna support you. You know, so to
Mhm.
me, that's what a man's supposed to do. A man is literally you're supposed to. If you made a commitment to that woman,
Mhm.
you're supposed to. Period. Period. Period.
I like that. And so I know this podcast is going to be fulfilling for a lot of dads, especially. So, um, I don't want to be too long in this podcast because I know you have a little one. But we don't talk often enough about breaking the stereotypes of fatherhood, you know. Do you think social media has helped or hurt the image of a modern dad? If so, why? Or is it bringing like a stereotypical of what a present dad might be?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. I'm sorry. I'm just watching. Bring the baby here. Come here. Bring the. Well, hand me the baby.
Hi,
Hand me the
wife.
baby.
Help.
Miss Erica said hello. Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're
We had to
fine.
try pacifier today.
Oh,
Oh,
you're so tiny.
yeah, that's my baby right here. We're gonna pass you now. Yeah, she was not happy. She's not
That's okay.
happy,
Hey,
but she's
it's
good though.
life. Look,
No,
the
she's
balance
good.
boss mom, it's life. Okay.
But you know, I think that you know, I do think that social media does play a role into um, parenting,
Hmm.
and our our community gets called out the most about parenting.
That's very true.
Moms are single parents. There are just some dads that are single parents.
Hmm.
Our community gets called out the most. And for me, like, my dad adopted me when I was like 1 or 2 years old. And I never would have known that he was not my biological father. That's so I say that for this. That's the context I want you to think about that in. I didn't, and I'm an 80s baby, so I didn't have social media. I never would have known that he was not my biological father. So it literally was one of those deals where I knew what type of not know what type of dad, but I knew what type of dad I wanted to be,
Okay.
without even thinking about it. I know it's gonna be there. I knew that regardless. Now again, I say that because we're a blended family.
Mhm.
So, you know, I saw one of your questions, and I know I know you're gonna go to this. I think you're gonna go to this. It's, are you gonna talk about co-parenting?
Mm,
And I'm gonna tell you something that that's just good. And it wasn't all like that. Like, you know, which we'll get into. But
I mean, whenever you're ready, feel
listen,
free. Feel free.
we done dove deep into the sauce. Right? Dove deep into the sauce. But I think that social media does play on single parenting,
Okay.
but there's a lot of social media that plays in on being a family, like
Mhm.
a complete family. And I'm gonna tell you, my wife is a surfer. She is an Instagram surfer. And she will find memes after videos after videos of stuff I ain't never heard of. I'm like, man, this makes sense. This makes a little sense. This makes some sense. And you think, and it's about fatherhood. It's about motherhood. It's
Okay.
about parents that are like, hey man, forget these kids. You know what I'm saying? It's
Me,
like
me and
it's
my
everything, right?
spouse, me and my
But
spouse be on TikTok and be like,
yeah,
"Forget the kids, okay? Like we are oh,
but
our date is done."
it is, and social media does play on that.
Mhm.
And they and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And what I've tried to do is, I'm not as big of a surfer, but what I try to do is I try to stay away from that type of energy because I see what
Understandable.
type of family, what that type of energy there, because I see what type of family that we have, me and my wife have,
Mhm.
and we love it. Like, it's freaking a war zone every day. And we love it. Like, yeah, do you want some days where it's a little bit smoother, yeah. But this is our home. This is our kids. Like,
It's
this is how
it's
we
where you
parent.
make it your happy place.
Exactly, this is how we parent. Um, I wish that more of us in our community focused
Mhm.
on a lot of the positive things about being a whole family. And I don't want to take anything away from single parents because I think single parents are special in its own right. So nobody gets with somebody and has a baby or gets married for it not to work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so let's preface that, right? Because I know a lot of social media makes like you got a whole bunch of clowns that make all kind of videos and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, that's
I
just, you can say what you want about your spouse, about your baby
mhm.
daddy, your baby mama, whoever. You can say what you want, but you better acknowledge the fact that you didn't get with that person and you did not think that it was going to end.
That
It
wasn't
just
the impression that you had at the beginning when towards the
exact
end, it was a little bit different.
when it ended, you just wasn't mature enough in your emotion.
Oh, no, not mature. You done hit a keyword. Not
I
mature.
mean, like it is what it is, right? It's like
I
if
mean,
your kid goes
mm,
to school and your kid breaks a pencil and your kid just starts screaming, your kid's emotions are not mature enough to handle a broken pencil. So what do you tell your kid? Grow up. It's a pencil. Get another one.
get another
Right?
yeah, yeah.
So
The
yeah, I do say that your emotions, you were not mature enough within your emotions at the period of time where you and your spouse or whoever, it didn't work.
mhm.
So now, and I'm gonna do a segue for you now into the co-parenting.
Oh,
Now
dear.
you've made that situation that
Uh-oh.
much more complicated.
Mhm. And you know what's another thing is that while we're on this topic of breaking stereotypes, I wish social media didn't glamorize. We often see like Kim Kardashian and who else? Kanye West and all these dynamics where it's what we see on the inside, but what is not really going on the outside, the exterior of what we see. And I think with social media evolving into AI, it's kinda like playing tricks on a lot of different
Oh,
things now,
hit
and
that. Say that.
AI
Say
is
that.
taking a lot of things, like a lot of things. And it's scary because now you have to think about your children and what AI is doing to your children. Where social media is gonna leave next, especially with the kids,
Mhm. You're right.
and
You're right. And,
then
you know, I seen something, I think it was yesterday,
Mhm,
and I follow this guy, and this guy, he literally goes around and he follows other influencers.
mhm,
And when he sees them, he starts recording them. And you start to see the realness of them when they're making the reels, right?
mhm.
So this one I seen just yesterday, and I mean I follow this couple like for years now. And I kind of was like, man, I've been bamboozled. Like I've been fooled, right?
Oh!
And so they were caught. So they were making a reel,
Mhm.
and it was not good. I mean, it was not good. It was, she was yelling at him and he was yelling at her, and then when I guess her friend was like, okay, let's go, then they would quickly snap it to the,
I'll snap
to the
into the
personalities. Yeah, to
Yeah,
the
that's
personalities. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
Um,
not happy. Look at me. I was like, I was not happy. But I was like, okay. I said, but that's social media. You know, my kids and even my wife, I've told her like, yo, you can't pay attention to social media stuff all the time.
my spouse hates when I'm on, so
Like,
he's like, "You need to put the
you
phone down
can't.
and
If
have some time."
if I get $5,000 a reel, and they're only paying me because I talk about how purple the sky is, guess what? Man,
It's
that
gonna be
sky get
played
ready to
out.
be purple forever.
It's gonna be
Like,
played out.
I'm gonna play it out. I'm gonna play it out.
It's gonna be played out.
I'm gonna play it out.
Because
Right?
then you have to think about in the social media content of what is the next thing that you have to come up with if the sky
Exactly.
is still purple. And then
Exactly.
that's coming up with a lie, and then you gotta continue that lie, and that lie is not gonna make you happy in the end.
Say that again. Say that. Say that. That's true. That's true.
It's not gonna make you happy. And so I wanna go into something a little bit lighter
Yeah.
about the lessons from fatherhood. So, what is something your kids have taught you lately?
Well, my kids told me lately. Whoa.
Did I touch a nerve? She said, "Yes. Yes, you did. You touched a nerve, Erica."
I'm gonna say patience.
Ooh. You know what? Before we even get into that word patience, this is something I wanna touch on. A couple years ago, um I still do it now, but I used to pick a word of the year. Each year, I pick a word of the year. And one of my words of the year was patience. And every day, literally for 365 days, I would pray about having patience. And of course, it was spoken to me. It's gonna come. You're gonna have patience. You're gonna be so calm in situations, you'll never know what's gonna happen. And every time I get in a situation, I revert back to that because I tell my spouse now, you need to learn how to have some patience. And he's like, why do you keep saying that? I said, because if you pray about it, it's gonna level out. You're gonna have some patience. And one of my closest friends was like, Erica, how do you do it? How do you just do it? Anything that somebody does to you, you're just so calm and you're so patient. I said, because I prayed for patience and I got granted that. And I'm not about to risk losing what I have for somebody being dumb.
You really hit on it because, you know, my wife and I was just having this conversation like a few days ago. We were talking about how it was patient. It was like other stuff we were talking about. And I was talking about how like sometimes people don't understand that sometimes when you pray for stuff like that, God puts you in situations where you have to be patient. So therefore, that's where your patience is
That
coming from.
that is
Or if you
true.
say, I wanna be understanding, more understanding. God's gonna put you
Mhm,
in a situation where you have to be understanding. And so that's where you get that foundation of that.
mhm.
And it's a lot of patience, man. Yeah, it's a lot of patience, and not just that may be my theme for this year. Is just patience. Been through a lot this past year, 10 months, 11 months,
Mhm.
and patience and prayer. And I say prayer. I want to incorporate prayer in with like reading the Bible and all that stuff because I'm gonna tell you the power of reading and the power of a dad and the power of God. So I started my kids got a children's little Bible thing, right?
Mhm.
And I started to read the Bible to them before they go to bed. Right. Just like in their book, it's quick stories, right? So one or
Mhm.
two stories a night. And now it gets to a point where they're like, when we tell them to go to bed, they're like, Daddy, you got to come up and read the Bible to us. And I'm gonna tell you, for years, I have I've always said I wanted to get back into the Word, but I've tried to get back into the Word, and then I just kind of reading to them has definitely helped me get back into the Word,
Oh, that's
and that's the
good.
power of it, right? And
Mhm.
that's patience, that's understanding,
Mhm.
that's
It's
all that
leading
type
you
of
in the
stuff.
right direction.
Exactly. So that's what my kids have taught me, now. So that's kind of what they're teaching me.
That's good. I like that. I like how my daughter, she's teaching me how to run my brain record, but
That too, but that's a whole different conversation.
whole different conversation. Being 7, the evolution of 7 and a girl. I'm
Mhm,
not ready for
mhm.
her to be a teenager. I'm
Oh,
10 don't get me started.
I
That's a
have
whole
one.
another chapter for another day.
Yes, I have one, trust
But
me.
I do want to close out, and I would love to hear some quick reflections from
Yeah,
you. So, my first one would be what's one piece of advice you would give to a new dad stepping into fatherhood?
patient and let it come to you. Just be patient and you know, look at that baby and understand that that baby knows your smell, knows your voice. And if you don't
Mhm.
do anything right, speak positive affirmation.
Speak life into existence.
Mhm.
I have to say, I like that.
Like I call my girls beautiful every day. Even my oldest one, beautiful, pretty, daddy loves you. My oldest one is, keep the main thing the main thing. The
Mhm.
younger ones, I give them a hug every day, kiss every day. I love you so much. Have a great day. Positive, positive, positive affirmation.
It needs to be more of that. Positive
Hmm.
affirmations need to be around more, especially with this economy that we're in. We're not going to talk, but that's another topic for
Yes, another one.
another topic for another day. What do you wish more men understood about the mental load of being a father?
That it's okay. It's okay not to be okay,
Say that again.
but it's not okay to stay not okay.
Say that again for
It's
the people in the back.
yeah. I mean, it is. It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. You know, we are under a different type of spotlight when it comes to
Mm.
living our daily life. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's not fair, but it is what it is, right? And you got to navigate,
Mhm. Mhm.
and understanding your situation, and understanding that there is a way out, and sometimes the quick way is not the best way, and you just have to, just like I said, just continue to put one foot in front of the other.
Mhm.
If anything, journal, keep a journal,
Or use the
find
notes in your phone.
have an outlet, which is,
A positive. Can
again,
we say
like
positive
for me,
outlet?
men can contact me. I'm a life coach. Contact me. We'll talk. Whatever the case may be. Find those people that are available to you to help you and that want to help you.
That village that needs to be around
Yes.
you.
Yes.
And then I have, what do you want your kids to remember about you 20 years from now? Ooh, 20 years from now, dear.
I want them. Yeah, I will say this, and I can say this probably. I want them to remember their dad as somebody. My dad was there. My dad tried. My dad tried
Mhm.
his hardest. That's it. My dad tried his hardest, and through that effort of trying, accomplished so much for us as a family.
Mhm.
That's what I want them to remember.
I like that. Well, on a ending of this note, Brandon, this conversation has been so needed, and thank you for giving us a window into the dad's pretty much fatherhood's unfiltered perspective. It's something that so many families can learn from. But before we wrap up, where can the listeners connect with you today?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram, and got a couple pages. Be Motivated LC, Instagram. Um, you can email me at bmore at motivatedmindsconsultingllc.com. You can also visit our website at motivatedmindsconsultingllc.com. Yeah, that's where you can find me at. I believe my podcast Be Motivated is on Spotify and Apple, so definitely can check out some of those episodes. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook.
Well, again, thank you for joining me, everyone. And I'm glad you guys were able to listen and see this podcast episode. This one was a really, really good episode. Like, this one was a powerhouse. Remember that parenting isn't just a mom's journey, it's also a dad's journey as well. Dads are welcome and they are loved. And mental health matters for not only for moms, but for dads too. Can we put an exclamation point on that? That mental health is important for dads. So
Absolutely.
on that note, I am going to say bye, guys, because it's been a long week. And until next time, thank you for being on the podcast, Brandon.
Thank you so much, Erika. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.